President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta finally hit the ground in full swing to start campaigning for Raila Amolo Odinga and Raila-Karua.
Mumefurahia hospitali yenu? Tutaishi na amani? Mutashikilia baba na Azimio mkono? Nione tena kwa mikono, nione.
This is bad news to the Kenya Kwanza team because William Samoei Ruto has come out in the open to request the president not to intervene in the succession politics. William Ruto has always urged the president to stand aside and take a neutral position so that he can face Raila Amolo Odinga head-on. In his own submission, William Ruto says that if he meets Raila Amolo Odinga in the absence of the president, he will defeat Raila Odinga very early in the morning. He says, huyu jamaa nitamshinda asubuhi. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are visiting our channel for the very first time, kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell. To all our subscribers, thank you very much. I want to request you to give this video a thumbs up and share it if you can. The question in the minds of very many people is the reason why the president had to take too long before he goes public to campaign for the Raila-Karua ticket.
Now, the party leader of Azimio la Umoja and the flag bearer is Raila Amolo Odinga. The president sits at the chair of the council, all right? But now that we have a ticket, now that we have a candidate, now that we have a running mate, it is up to them to go and campaign now. The president has to keep off. The president has to be above. Now he becomes head of state. You see, the president is both head of state and head of government.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to try and delve into the deepest reasons why Mr. President had to keep us waiting before he hit the ground. Do you think this is the right time for him, or do you think he is late? I want to believe that one of the reasons why Mr. President had to keep us waiting before he campaigns for Raila Odinga is because the Kenya Kwanza team had labeled Raila Odinga as a project. And the president did not want to corroborate those allegations by campaigning for Raila Amolo Odinga. The Kenya Kwanza team had indicated that Mr. Odinga was a project of the state, he was a project of the system, and they had indicated that Raila Amolo Odinga was a puppet who was going to be operated by a remote, and at this remote perhaps they meant it was Uhuru Kenyatta and the deep state. So the president wanted Raila Odinga to go into all corners of this country to sell his manifesto, to sell his policies. And I want to believe that Raila Amolo Odinga has done enough. He has campaigned, he has taken control of his former strongholds, he launched his manifesto, he has told Kenyans about the 6,000 that he's going to give them, he has told them about the Baba Care. Raila has campaigned alone, and he has convinced many that he's still the Baba they knew. He can campaign on his own. So Uhuru Kenyatta is coming to campaign when everyone will know that Raila hit the ground on himself. His coming in is only going to be an icing in the cake. If he had started campaigning for Raila Odinga earlier than this, the Kenya Kwanza team would have said that, you see, this is a man who has just been placed there. Uhuru is campaigning with him. Uhuru wants to coerce people to vote for him. The other day when William Ruto went to the United States and the UK, he appealed to the United States and the UK to intervene because he said that there is a plot to force Kenyans to vote for Raila Amolo Odinga. So in his own wisdom, the president decided to take a low profile to allow Raila to meet the people. So now even if he hits the ground, it is not going to be said that the president is fronting Raila as a project. The second reason why I think the president had to keep us waiting for some time is because the president had told us that there's a time for everything. And he said that he was fulfilling the promises that he gave to Kenyans in 2017. The president has always said that his deputy, William Ruto, instead of helping him to deliver the election promises that they gave to Kenyans together, his deputy started campaigning too early. And perhaps this is the reason he says that led them to separate and go their own ways. So, in a way, the president wanted to juxtapose his character and that of William Samoei Ruto. He is accusing William Ruto of sabotage, and he wants to show people that he's a man of his words. Because when he told people that I will not engage in politics until the right time, he meant it. And the president believes that he was still overseeing connection of electricity to many houses. He was still presiding over building of infrastructure and connecting very many roads. And he wants to convince Kenyans that he was still trying to engage in activities that was going to change the economy of this country. And that is the reason that he kept Kenyans waiting. His timing is very strategic. It is only coming a few days to the general election, and he wants to portray Ruto as a man who is power hungry, who started campaigning very early before the right time. So, this is the reason why the president is now coming up and is telling people that I think this is the right time that I want to campaign for my friend Raila Odinga, and I'm doing it at the right time. I'm not doing it at the expense of development projects. If you watched the president in Ruai, he actually went there to oversee some development. I think there was a hospital there that he went to launch, and he took advantage of that scene, and he campaigned for Raila and Karua. His statement is very categorical, very calculated. He's telling them that the pair that I'm giving you, the pair that I'm supporting, Raila and Martha, are people who are very serious. They will fight corruption in this country. The other thing that is coming out in the president's statements is the fact that Raila Molo Odinga and Martha Karua have got a working chemistry. Because if you listen even to Martha speaking, Martha understands her roles, and she comes out as a person who will only be playing a supportive role. Remember, one thing that has left Kenyans discussing in this election is the fact that William Samoei Ruto and his boss were not reading from the same page, because many have accused Ruto as a man who does not understand his roles. Instead of playing a supportive role as a deputy president, many have accused Mr. Ruto as a person who is behaving as if he is the boss. And if you look at Uhuru Kenyatta campaigning and you listen to what Martha is saying, Martha says that she understands her roles, she will let Raila be the boss, and she will play her part as a deputy president. So the president is presenting the Raila-Karua ticket as a people who will work together to deliver their election promises. And they are doing this because the president has always said that the reason why he did not work with Uhuru Kenyatta, his deputy William Samoei Ruto, is because the deputy was not cooperative. He was not cooperating with him, and therefore he went out to look for Raila to help him deliver some of those election pledges. And so when Raila and Martha Karua are coming, he's trying to showcase them as a pair that will not give us the drama that we have witnessed within the outgoing president. That we will see a president and a deputy who are very compatible, because compatibility is very important in any government. When the president and the deputy are at peace, when they work together, even Kenyans will have a smooth running government, and the development projects will be championed in a way that will be better than what we have witnessed in the current government. The president, I believe, was also preparing the ground before he goes to campaign for Raila Amolo Odinga. One of the things that the president was accused of is this allegation that he neglected the people of Mount Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua has always said that when they elected Mr. President, he decided to abandon them. he went and picked Raila Odinga, and he decided to channel most of the development projects in Nyanza. And so this left the Mount Kenya people disillusioned, and they really felt that their father abandoned them. So what the president did was very simple. He decided to launch several projects within the last 6 months. If you see the kind of roads that have been built in Central, if you look at the kind of incentives that farmers are being given, if you look at the hospitals, and the president was doing this to prepare the ground, because he did not want a scenario where he goes to campaign perhaps for Raila Odinga and people are shouting him down. If today the president decides to go to Central, I believe you will see a different ground. The ground has changed. You've listened to the Kenya Kwanza team of late. No one is accusing the president of neglecting the central Kenya people. The Mount Kenya people now understand that perhaps the president saved the very best for them in the last minute. The other thing that the president was doing was to ensure that Raila has someone who can help him climb the mountain. You see, it became very clear that Raila Odinga had his strongholds intact. Places like Nyanza, Western Coast, and part of Nairobi have always been Raila's strongholds. And when it became very clear that he had snatched them away from William Ruto, who had tried to gain interest there, there was only one question that became a thorn in the flesh to the intelligence, because they had reported that it was becoming a bit slippery for Raila Amolo Odinga even to climb the mountain. And so they gave Raila Odinga Martha-Karua. This was part of the plan to try and clear the way for Raila Odinga and prepare the way for Mr. President. So with Martha-Karua, if you've seen the latest polls, Raila Odinga is now leading, contrary to the first polls where William Ruto was leading. If you look at the rallies, even in Central, in Nakuru, the places where the Kikuyus mostly reside, those rallies are being thronged. And if you look even at the body language, those electors now love Martha-Karua. And the narrative that is going on is that Martha-Karua hachezi masaa ya kazi. They have cited the Kibaki government where they worked together, and Raila was in charge of roads and Martha-Karua was in charge of the constitution. So this pair is coming up as a team that is hardworking. After the president realized that the ground is now smooth, he can now walk safely, he can now go to each and every corner of this country. He has now hit the ground because he knows very well there will not be much humiliation. He can go to every place. He has finished laying the ground, and now he can start campaigning for Raila Amolo Odinga. The second thing that that the president is doing, the president wanted to give William Ruto time so that the manifestation of his character can come out in the very open. You see, when the president accused his deputy of sabotage, we thought maybe alikuwa anamsingizia. Maybe he just didn't want his deputy, and he was now giving us stories. But now, deputy president has come out as a man who is led by anger. He told us himself that after Maraga had nullified the 2017 elections, and the president was expressing some lukewarmness in his ability to come and contest again, he almost slapped the president. And you see, the president and the Azimio team has picked up this to use against William Ruto. In fact, the president said that enyewe ilikuwa karibu niache for the sake of peace in this country, nilikuwa nataka amani. And you've listened to the president before. He said that in 2017, William Ruto kept on urging him asiache because they have security and they have everything. But Mr. President kept on wondering why he was to leave his people burning each other, burning their shops and killing each other. So the character of William Ruto is now coming out in the open. The other day when Wamalwa said that not only did he want to slap the president, but he also wanted to slap Eugene and Fred Okengo Matiang'i, ministers of defense and interior respectively, William Ruto came out and referred to Mr. Eugene Wamalwa as a woman. This has brought a lot of reaction, very negative reactions from the Western, the relatives and friends of Eugene Wamalwa. So the deputy is now being portrayed as a man who is led by anger. For the period that the president kept cool, there are several allegations of land grabbing, there are several allegations of corruption. So people can now see the true character of his deputy. So when he comes out to tell the people that I don't trust my deputy, and this is the reason why I want to hand over this baton to the Raila-Karua team, he now has a ground. You know, there is a lot of unemployment. There is food shortage. The youths are crying. Even though the deputy president has presented himself as a hustler, a man who understands the common man, the president is presenting the other side of Ruto and is saying that part of the reason why Kenyans are suffering is because people looted this country. When the deputy president accuses his boss of borrowing too much, the president defends himself that borrowing is not bad. But if this money is in the hands of looters like his deputy, then it becomes a problem. So Mr. President has the audacity now to accuse his deputy because the character has been seen, it has been manifested. People now know William Ruto for who he is. The truth is, there are several people who could not vote for Raila Odinga if the president had not come out in the open. He had given us a vague indication that he wanted to hand over power to his friend, handshake partner, Raila Odinga. But very many people thought, but perhaps this was just a way to manage Raila Odinga because they thought if Raila is left hanging there and you are in the government, you will not have a smooth working environment because you know how energetic Raila is. So many have argued up to very late that the president just wanted to manage Raila Odinga. There were people who are still undecided. By the president now coming out to tell them, mimi ningependa mpige Raila Amolo Odinga kura, they will now decide. There are those who listen to the president. And the president had to come out. They did not want some vague indication. So the president has come out and told them, mimi nataka mpige Raila kura, and they will now vote for him. The president knew this very well, that the people were waiting for his direction. He has now directed them to vote for the Raila-Karua ticket. Ladies and gentlemen, I also think that the president was using this opportunity to bid Kenyans farewell. He's been their boss. He's been the senior most CEO for the last 10 years. I know he has his failures. He has his strengths. There are people who love him. There are people who tend to hate him. But he wanted to take this opportunity to thank Kenyans. So he's taking this moment to thank Kenyans, to bid them farewell.
Si tunataka kazi hii isonge mbele. Si tunataka isonge mbele. Na ndio mimi niko hapa kwa heshima kubwa sana, nikiwarudishia mimi kama rais wenu asante na shukurani nyingi kwa kuniunga mkono miaka hiyo yote. Na mimi nikisema kwa huo muda ambaye mmenipatia nimefanya yale ambaye nimeweza. Na mimi sasa nataka kuunga mkono wale watu kama hawa nimewatajia hapa ambao wataweza kuendeleza hii kazi. Si ni kweli? Na mimi nataka niwachie hata hii kiti niko naye. Niwachie huyu mzee anaitwa Raila na yeye pia asukume aendelee naye.
So he's telling them, guys, bye and thank you for the period that you gave me to become your president. And it is on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm also saying bye and thank you for taking your time to listen to my video.